Hi everyone and welcome to the video. Here I will be brewing a Belgian Dubbel. I decided that for this Belgian Dubbel that I would actually give it an authentic name. So here I turn to my Dutch friend Anton for his help on the name itself and the authentic pronunciation.
Hi, my name is Anton. I'm helping out my very good friend Dave, who is brewing Belgian beer. He is however not very good at speaking Dutch, so I'm gonna help him pronounce his new Belgian beer name, which is called het dubbele genot. I hope you like it, have a great taste and enjoy the drinking.
So there you go, that's how it's pronounced. As you can see, it means double delight. Here is the actual recipe. Don't worry, I will be repeating the entire recipe on the YouTube description. So as usual, I will start with doughing in, adding the grain to the strike water, and I noticed that because obviously there's a lot of candy sugar in this, the amount of strike water that I was told by the Grainfather app to add seemed rather a lot for the amount of grain that I have. I guess I should have picked up on this earlier, but never mind. As you can see, when I actually go to add the grain plate, there's a fair amount of space left over. Not a problem though. I will simply add the grain plate a little bit deeper. I'm also going to add the sink strainer. I've been very happy with how this has performed. There are 3 mash steps to this beer. The first one is at 62C, as you can see, and the second one is at 68C, and then after that we'll do mash out at 75C. So I've got all of my hops and extras all organised here, ready for the boil. And as you've probably noticed, there's an awful lot of candy sugar in this recipe. It's actually well known that a lot of the more popular commercial Belgian beers actually have just over 20% candy sugar in their recipes. So I'm actually a little bit under that. I think it's about 19% here. But yeah, this is going to be a sweet, nice beer. So I've just had the notification that the first mash step is over, so I'm going to start preparing my sparge water. So let's have a little look and see how the wort's getting on, and the colour is developing nicely. But also, as you can see, that sink strainer is really doing the nice job of capturing all of that loose grain. So with the mash over, now it's time to start the sparge, and the key here, as I always say, is do it nice and slow and evenly. Not long after starting the sparge, I decided to switch over to boil mode. This way I save a bit of time in leading up to the boil itself. One thing that I think is also really important while you do it is to have some great music playing in the background. Preferably this should be as loud as you can get it, and I prefer it to be some form of heavy rock. Not only is this good for the brewer, I think this is also good for all of the ingredients, including the yeast. So by request, I've been asked to show more clearly how I dispose of my grain. So I put it in my bucket, and I put a bag over the end, and then after that, I turn it upside down so that all of the grain goes into the bag. I always place the bag on a towel so that any further liquid that's still within the grain can come out. This won't be very much though, because I always leave the grain basket for the first part of ramping up to the boil. So now I'm waiting with my spray bottle with star sand in it and my spoon, just to make sure that I can control that hop break. And there you go, it's all starting to get sprayed down now, and now it's just a case of stirring all of that foam back in to the actual wort itself. Once this is all stirred in, I then start the timer for the boil. So now it's time for the first hop addition. So I tend to put these in glasses with a label on them so I know where I am. In it goes, and now it's just a case of stirring it in. So now it's time to start cleaning the grain basket, and what I've found is the easiest way to do this is to actually do it inside a fermenter. The size is ideal, and what I'm using here is some antibacterial washing up liquid. As I'm sure you already know, I do use the Grainfather smartphone app, but I still do also use my wind up alarm just as an extra safeguard. I've now added all of my hop additions, and it's now time to actually add the candy sugar itself. Sugars like this should always be added at 10 minutes till the end, and the thing that's really important is to give it a really good stir, not just from the top and the middle, but also from the bottom itself, because you will find that some of those larger particles of candy sugar do take a little bit longer to actually melt down. The parts at the bottom are obviously the priority, because you don't want them sticking to the bottom plate or causing a mess down there. In this case I found myself stirring for, I suppose, about 5 minutes, just to make sure everything was how it should be. So now it's time to take a refractometer reading, just to make sure that everything is on target. I'm glad to say that it actually was, so nothing more to do now but to continue. Otherwise I would have needed to add something else or settle for a lower gravity. So now what I'm doing is creating a little whirlpool effect, just to get everything merged together, so that all of my hops are in the center in a cone, and also to merge all of my ingredients together. So I started the chilling process a short time ago, and as you can see, supersonic counterflow chiller has done a great job again. So I'm very close to the 20 degrees that I'm looking for to actually start putting the wort into my fermentation vessel. I've extended the silicone tubing on my counterflow chiller so that I have a bit more to play with when I do my wort out. And this allows me to put the tubing quite high up in the air and splash it directly into my fermentation vessel, thus giving the yeast a lot more oxygen to feed off of, which is very good for starting fermentation early. After adding about half of the wort, I then sprinkle the yeast on top. There's always a nice amount of foam already, which will please the yeast, and then what I do is I add the rest of the wort directly on top of that yeast. Again, I'm splashing it straight onto it, again creating more air for the yeast to feed off of. This was a 25 litre recipe, but I actually ended up with about 27 litres, and the wort was a beautiful golden colour. It certainly looked a bit darker than that when you combined it together, but there you go, that's a really nice colour. So as you notice, I ended up a few points above the target despite having 2 more litres of wort. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. I'm also very happy with the colour of this wort as well. So I've actually used a blower valve for this one, and as you can see I have my STC 1000, which is then controlling the brew belt that you see here. So after about 4 hours I went down and had a look, and here we can see that fermentation has definitely started, which is great. And this video here is actually the morning after, so definitely a bit more activity going on now. So yeah, looks like this yeast is very happy and ready to make some really good beer for me, so I look forward to that. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to send a special thanks to Anton for his help with what he did on this video. Also to mention that I'm very thankful for all of the support and encouragement from everyone that I've had in making these videos. That's very nice. This will definitely be one of the last videos that I do before I go on a holiday, so you may not see the channel quite as active in the coming weeks, but rest assured I will definitely be back soon. I wish you all a happy summer and happy brewing, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.